Oki, Tanzi, welcome. Napit. My name is Beth Gignac. I'm the Chief Impact and Innovation Officer at United Way Calgary and Area, and it's my pleasure to invite you all here today to the Social Impact Lab in Calgary for this important announcement. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the land on which the Social Impact Lab currently sits. We are in the traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the traditional home of the Siksika and Piikani First Nations, the home of the Stoney Nakoda Nations of the Chiniki, Wesley and Bearspaw First Nations, and Tsuut'ina First Nations here in Treaty 7. We also recognize and acknowledge the many other nations and people who make their home here in Mohkinstsis, Calgary, at the confluence of the Elbow and the Bow Rivers, where people have been gathering and connecting and creating together for 10,000 years. We're going to acknowledge the work that we've been working with our colleagues at the Creative Partnerships Branch for the past 6 months or so, and it's my real pleasure and sincere honor to introduce to you today Minister Orr. Minister Orr.
Thank you very much, Beth, and thank you for doing a very appropriate land acknowledgement. Well done. So, good afternoon, everybody. I'm thrilled to be here, and this is a great place to be joined by the leaders of United Way, Calgary and Area, and J5 Design, very creative and thoughtful bunch of people who brought us the Social Impact Lab where we are standing today. The Social Impact Lab is an initiative that heralds a new and a better future for Alberta's social sector, and that ultimately means for all Albertans, really. It's an incredible value-added resource that we're excited to help bring to communities across the province. And it's that launching out to other communities that is at the heart of what we're doing here. Alberta's government promised, and it has been a priority from day one, and for me also within my department, to create a more robust, sustainable social sector that helps improve people's quality of life. Through creative partnerships, government is reimagining, together with others' help, of course, how the nonprofit sector can achieve the support it requires to thrive in an ever-changing world, and it's changing at an ever more rapid pace. Over the next 3 years, we will introduce, scale, and adopt a suite of tools, programs, and partnerships to support the resiliency of Alberta's nonprofit organizations. This afternoon, we're sharing the next step in our journey toward a stronger, healthier, and more connected and prosperous province. With the Social Impact Lab, the United Way is amplifying the incredible social impact that can be achieved through collaboration and cooperation. The lab is an incubation center for communities, including nonprofits, businesses, citizens, and thought leaders who are open and actually even seeking new perspectives, willing to experiment and share, and who all share a passion to affect real social change in Alberta. And that's why I'm pleased to announce that our government is providing $1.75 million over 3 years to the United Way Calgary and Area's Social Impact Lab as part of our Creative Partnerships Alberta initiative. This is in addition to our Creative Partnerships USEED contribution of $2 million to both the United Way and the University of Calgary, who are leading us in some of that as well. The aim of Creative Partnerships Alberta is to foster collaboration among the business community, our academic community, the philanthropic community, and ultimately the nonprofit community. And hopefully through that collaboration, we can spur new thinking and more effective action, because that's ultimately what it needs to lead to, and that's what is important and what matters to Alberta's communities. We launched Creative Partnerships Alberta last year, following many hours of conversation with stakeholders, and for us, it's about finding a made-in-Alberta solution. Even pre-pandemic, we saw the need to innovate and to build the capacity of nonprofits to address complex social issues in our province. The nonprofit sector is truly key to Alberta's social, economic, and emotional, and I often say human recovery, because that's where it really comes down to at the end. It's an essential economic driver as well. We should never forget that. The nonprofit sector employs 270-some thousand Albertans, contributes 5.1 billion in GDP. And so from lifting people out of poverty to providing opportunity to connect with others, nonprofits are improving the lives of Albertans at every level. But there's always more work to be done. There's always more learning to be had. And so today's announcement for funding has the potential to grow several hundred organizations in the work that they collaboratively do to explore innovative approaches to issues facing our communities. They will have the opportunity to redesign any area of their organization, including how they provide services, how they recruit volunteers, and how they conduct fundraising. And I want to add here that in terms of fundraising, my ministry has been proud of its launch of the Crowdfunding Alberta website, which puts the tools of professional fundraising in the hands of everyday organizations. And I'll just add a little bit here. The crowdfunding site was a response to nonprofits telling us that many of the regular grant processes were too long, too hard to apply for, too expensive, too hard to report for. Crowdfunding fits a very niche request for smaller grants that are much easier, that are much quicker, and that are much simpler. And so it's a direct response to that request. So I encourage all nonprofit organizations and communities across Alberta to explore not only the crowdfunding platform, but the opportunity to bring the lab here to your community so that you might be learn, challenge, grow, and become much more efficient, have a higher level of capacity in the work that you do in your communities all across Alberta. More important, or more information about how to do so can be found on the Creative Partnerships Alberta website or the United Way's Social Impact Lab site, either one. It's just another way Alberta's government is supporting the natural spirit of Albertans to be innovative, entrepreneurial, really to be in the driver's seat, which is what needs to happen when it comes to helping organizations thrive. Because when nonprofits thrive, literally Alberta thrives. It's just part of the reality. So our government's investment in the Social Impact Lab is part of its ongoing commitment to make life better for Albertans. It's one step forward, but a major step forward toward meeting that goal. And so thank you for being here, and I trust that many organizations will profit and benefit from the services and the learning that will happen through the Social Impact Lab. And now I would really like to introduce for you Karen Young, President and CEO of United Way of Calgary and Area. Karen?
I'm shorter than Minister Orr. Okay, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm just so thrilled to be here with this new announcement to scale the Social Impact Lab across Alberta. United Way and J5 partnered together several years ago to really look at new and innovative ways to solve some of the complex social issues that we've been facing in Calgary. We teach, build, and incubate new solutions by finding what can be done differently to really make a difference. We have a multidisciplinary team who are excelling innovation and driving change for those who struggle with accessing services or experiencing inequity in society and in systems. We bring together philanthropists, nonprofits, government, businesses, and community members to really accelerate impact on those critical issues facing our communities, and we really try to drive for that systems change in our community. What I really like about the Social Impact Lab and the approach they use with design thinking is the focus on human experience. We bring people with lived experience into the lab and really focus on how to co-design together. It's really magic when we bring all of these different expertises into the lab, people who've actually experienced these issues, and try to create something different, something special, something magical that will truly help people thrive in Calgary and in Alberta. We know, for example, that 1 in 5 people struggle with mental health issues. So, through some of the lab solution building, we created Natural Supports YYC. It's a digital simulation that is a solution that really helps adults, whether they're parents, a coach, a teacher, connect with young people and provide positive supports so they have opportunities to navigate the system. It's an online interactive experience. It only takes about 15 minutes, and you can actually meet kids where they're at when they need it. For me, it's about caring about your neighbors. It's about creating caring citizens and really promoting both individual and community well-being. We also know that the pandemic has really increased poverty. 77,000 more people alone in Calgary experiencing it. But we also know that food dignity has become a real issue. So we stood up the Pay What You Can market just to see how can we help people who are trying to get food on the table for their loved ones. It really can be a struggle. And so this concept has been great because people can come in, they can look at fresh produce, they can choose what it is they want to get. But the beauty of it is they can pay what they can afford and they can live within their... With the United Way of the Alberta Capital Region with my colleague Rob Yeager, and we've also partnered with the United Way of Lethbridge and Southwest Alberta with the Executive Director Janelle Marietta. We're going to be providing these regional hubs. So if you have a great idea, a drive to innovate, or a new solution for the community, we really want to hear from you. We're also going to be scaling part of the Social Impact Lab's Inspire program. That supports participants with coaching and mentorship from innovation experts to build participants' knowledge and thereby accelerating that experience. And as Minister Orr said, you're going to be able to look at service delivery, new products and services, your human resources, your systems, your processes, to really make sure that you can meet the needs of the people in your community. But what I really, really love about this program is that we are going to be working together in both Western and Indigenous ways of knowing and being. We really want to make sure that we have appropriate cultural mechanisms so that people can really experience their Indigenous culture through this process. We want to make sure everyone in the province feels like they belong and that we are inclusive as a community. I also wanted to thank our elders, Dr. Reg and Rose Crowshoe, for all of their guidance and wisdom in our journey in our Indigenous work. Social Impact Alberta, we're going to be on the front lines, we're going to be driving around, we're going to be listening, we're going to be learning, we're going to be engaging with you to really see how we can help Alberta recover and build that strong resiliency for the future. So thank you again, Minister Orr and the Government of Alberta, the Creative Partnerships Division. We just can't wait to get on the road with you and truly create a resilient and caring community where everyone thrives. Thank you.
Questions? Thank you, Karen. Amanda LeBlanc, Press Secretary, will be taking any questions that people might have. And Minister Orr, Karen, and myself are here to answer any questions should they arrive. If I could invite my colleagues to join me.
Okay, I understand we may have one person on the phone. If there's a caller, you can put them through. No, and is there any media in person that would like to ask a question? If so, there's a mic just close to the door. You can step right up to it. All right, I guess not. And that concludes our press conference. I'll just ask to do a group photo really quick for the news release. And then your colleague from J5 as well to join us as well. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we'd love to get you